Just want to make it very clear. The name calling in this is Donald Trump. But just take a quick listen. I want to get your response on the other side.
Look, the United Auto Workers, I know them very well. They vote for me. They have a stupid person leading them, but they vote for me. They're going to love Donald Trump more than ever before.
So, again, setting aside the childish name calling from a 78-year-old grown man, I want to focus on the core of this, because I brought it in the lead-in. You've got a massive group of union workers out there, part of the United Auto Workers family. What is the effort behind getting them? We know they're all not going to vote for, Kamala Harris, or they're all not going to vote for Donald Trump. But what's the strategy to sort of galvanize the union worker behind the idea that there's a big difference between these two presidential candidates when it comes to the working class and working men and women across this country? As you said, not just within unions, but even outside of unions, remembering that he was the one who had a union event with non-union workers.
Yeah. No, it's, look, again, it's going back to facts. And we've got over 1 million members between retired members and active workers. And, we're launching our campaign now. We've been very actively speaking about this, showing these two people, as we tell them every time I speak. It's not my opinion. This isn't party politics. This is these people in their own words and their own actions. And that says enough for anyone. When you show those facts, it's a very clear picture. So, that's one of the things we're doing. We've created some videos we're putting out talking about these facts and where they come from. But, the ultimate thing to me is it just shows, I know this, and I know our members. A huge majority of our members will be supporting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They're excited about this, and we see this thing just continue to build. The name calling and stuff, that's just what Trump is. It's how he operates, just like with veterans. He claims to be for military, but he calls, people that made the ultimate sacrifice suckers and losers. He had called John McCain, my heroes don't get captured. And now he's questioning, the service of Tim Walz. Give me a break. Donald Trump knows nothing about service. Daddy got him out of the military, because of his bone spurs. This man knows nothing about serving anything but himself. So, it's a very clear picture when you look at that. You
can also layer onto your endorsement the Culinary Workers Union, very powerful in Nevada, going to be critical in that state. I was struck by something you said in your release, in your endorsement. You said we can put a billionaire back in office who stands against everything our union stands for, or we can elect Kamala Harris, who will stand shoulder to shoulder with us in our war on corporate greed. I have noticed that language about corporate greed is beginning to be incorporated in the vice president's remarks on the Trill, right? Gone is sort of this talk about inflation, which is a thing that, if we're honest, revolves around global factors. She can't control inflation the same way that if you talk about corporate greed, she both, in her record as a prosecutor, actually has a record of going after this. And two, I think it provides sort of an answer and a path forward for why a bag of chips costs what it does right now at the grocery store.
Yeah, look, that's the thing. That's the difference. That's a stark contrast between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, they've struggled. They know struggle. They know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck because they've been there. Donald Trump knows nothing about what working class people go through. So, Kamala Harris understands working class people in this country have been hurting for decades because the billionaire class has been taking everything and leaving workers behind. And that's the essence of what this is about. We hear about it.
Big widening margin between what the numbers were previously when it was a Joe Biden-Donald Trump matchup.
Look, I love what's happening out of the recent polling, and there's two things that are really important. One, in poll after poll, including what came out today from the New York Times, you're seeing her margin get better and increase and actually create some space, especially in the swing states. That's crystal clear. Every single poll is coming out showing a positive improvement for the vice president and for Democrats. The second part about this, which I think is also really important, is we know that there is one person in the country that is the most obsessed with polling, and his name is Donald Trump. And so you know that he is going absolutely bonkers. This is driving him absolutely crazy that she is actually now beating him in some of these swing states. There's a lot of reports about how he's taking the news not well. And I think what it shows most importantly is that Kamala Harris is resonating with the American public, especially in the swing states. Tim Walz is resonating with the American public. What a fantastic vice presidential pick. And so I think you're going to continue to see a strengthening of the Harris-Walz tickets in polling as we move forward. But do not be complacent. I tell folks all the time, polling is a snapshot in time. We've got to fight every single day because, like she says, when we fight, we win.
Congressman, the oldest Latino civil rights group, the League of United Latin American Citizens, endorsing the Harris-Walz campaign. Let's be clear, this is the first ever endorsement in its 95-year history of the organization. This group is made up of more than just Democrats. Your thoughts on the fact that they are willing to come forward and very publicly support Kamala Harris and this ticket?
I think it's a historic moment. I think the Latino community is uniting, solidifying their support for this ticket. The vice president has an incredible record standing with our community. I've seen that record as Attorney General, as U.S. Senator from California, and as vice president. She has always stood up for Latino issues, understands the immigration and border, and she understands that it's complex, and really is someone that's always reached out to our community. So it's good to see it. I also think it is a recognition by the community that the single most dangerous person to Latino voters is Donald Trump. There has never been anyone that has been more hostile to our community, that's called us horrific names, that says we're poisoning the blood of this country. That has been Donald Trump's message. And so I think that the Latino community, you're going to see continue to get more and more excited about the ticket. And I think what LULAC has done is fantastic. And I think you're going to see that from a lot of organizations from the Latino community across the country.
New York Times has some new reporting.